what's going on in the background there, Coop?
Oh, can you hear that?
Yeah.
That's my my dry cleaning.
It does sound a bit like a dryer.
Is it too bad? Should I turn it off?
No. It was a second ago when you weren't talking. When you were, was it you weren't talking? You were talking. It was there was a particularly loud spot, but it's
particularly
like that one just then.
Yeah, no, I was going to get it done before this, but
I'm on the fence. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. Oh man, it got really cold in here all of a sudden.
Cold? It's getting pretty warm here. How cold is it in Indiana?
It's been in the 50s today, mainly because it was overcast basically all day yesterday and overcast all day today. I was like, oh, you know what? I'll go for I'll do the album. I'll go for a walk and then make dinner. And I finish the album, like writing all my stuff. Then I go upstairs and look out the window, and it's just raining like it was when I woke up. And was like, well, I thought it had stopped by now. So, but it's been very chilly.
Very chilly. Oh, it's been nice and warm here.
Yeah, I got used to it. It was like in the 80s for a couple of days there.
Oh.
I had my windows open.
Indiana does have its weather can really flip flop. That Midwest. The chill.
Hopefully we get some warmth. I was hoping to have a nice warm weekend, but I had other plans. Yeah, it looks like the high this week here is going to be 70 on Monday, and then there's only 3 days this week where it's going to get up over 60. 259s. That's lame. It's not even supposed to be rainy.
That's basically 60.
It's just going to be cold. Well, I got used to the 75 plus, Cooper. Now I'm going to have to be wearing sweatshirts.
You're going to have to get back used to 59?
Well, I don't want to.
It's April, Sam. It's supposed to be cold.
No, I liked it when it was 75 degrees.
I'll get warm soon.
Yeah.
Then
it's going to be 95 or higher.
You do anything fun this weekend?
What did I do? I played Stellaris on Friday night. What did I do on Saturday? Just kind of bummed around, I guess. I slept in really late.
Yeah, I was. You sent me the text. I'm like, wait, isn't he like 3 hours ahead of me?
Yes, I am.
It's not even late where I'm at.
Well, just because you get up early to go hike in this. I'm pretty sure it was raining yesterday again as well, so it's not like I could do anything. It's been raining the whole weekend.
It was all clear here.
Yeah, I can imagine. Gee, it's not like we're close or anything.
Yeah. Emotionally.
Yeah, I'm talking about physical distance. So I slept really late the past 2 days because it's like, well, what else am I going to do? I can't go outside. My hand's healed enough now that I could probably ride my bike, but it's not been nice enough for me to ride my bike. So I did a lot today. Did a bunch of dishes, cooked dinner, listened to the album, or wrote for the album, rather. But I still didn't get out of bed till like fucking 11 or something like that.
Yeah, today was a bit of my lazy day as well.
Yeah, my issue is if I don't lay, because like I have to. I'm probably not going to be teleworking much at all anymore. So if I do not get I have to really catch up on sleep over the weekend because I go to bed at 10:30 and still have to get up at 6:20, and that's not enough sleep for me. 7 hours is not enough. But I can't push it anymore because I'm not going to bed at 9. Like,
well, the sun's gone down.
Yeah, I'll get home. Well, no, at 9, the sun will still be up for another half an hour.
Oh.
I'll get home from work, and then I'll get home from work at like what? 5:30. So that'll give me 3.5 hours until I would go to bed. No, thank you.
Just enough.
Yeah, screw that. So push 10:30. That gives me 5.5 hours, which still isn't great, but we live in a society.
Bottom text.
Bottom text.
Hey, well, that's what the weekends are for, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and this next weekend's going to be a 3-day, so it'll be even better.
Oh, you're in a 3-day weekend?
Well, no, I remember every other weekend I get to.
Oh, all right. I always
because I work 9-hour days.
There you go.
One of my friends works 10-hour days, and he gets every weekend as a 3-day weekend.
But still, 10 hours is a lot.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, like, maybe I could see it if you lived closer. Because, like, I've got a 45-minute drive both ways. So, technically, I'm already doing more than a 10-hour day. Including commute. But if you live, like, a 10-minute drive away from work, shoot, yeah, I could see that. You know? Because what I'm doing now is, like, when is it? 9 hours plus 2 45s. That's an extra hour and a half. So 10.5 hours from when I leave home to when I get home.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, it sucks, but getting home, I leave before I get in early enough to where I can leave before the rush at the end of the day. So I actually, have a pretty easy commute both ways. It's just really far.
Physical distance.
Yeah. But if you live like 10 minutes away, right? Like you could get in, if I were to wake up at 6:20, leave here at 7-ish, get there at 7:10, it'd be pretty good.
Wouldn't be too bad.
No, it would not. And then you have 3-day weekend every week. I could do that. Because it gets to the point where just because you have your ass at a seat for 10 hours, you're not working for the whole 10 hours. It's not possible. And a lot of I can't speak for every company, but a lot of companies just like seeing your ass in that seat. I don't know why, but that's what
maybe they just like seeing your ass.
Well, they don't want to see it because they want to see you sitting at your desk. So, I don't know. Jobs, man.
Jobs. Can't live with them, can't live without them, huh?
How long Sorry, go ahead.
Until we retire?
No, I was going to say, how long till we get to the Star Trek Utopia, where you do what you want?
Sam, you missed it. That was the late 90s. That was as good as it's going to get. I did submit my taxes today, so got that all done.
I got all my returns back already.
Oh, yeah. Well, you submitted them pretty early.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, I'm really early since they've all been pushed back to May 17th.
Yeah. Well, I did mine way back in early March, so.
Yeah, that's probably the way to do it. But
oh, well.
Either way, it's in Uncle Sam's hands now.
Mm-hmm. We need to start that new Roth IRA and Cooper segment.
Yeah. Well,
let's talk about taxes.
40 to 50 minutes, to have a little time to talk about taxes.
Cut down the music part to only about 10.
Yeah.
Just give our overall opinion on the song. It was all right. All right, moving
Music's
on.
Nice. But you know what's even nicer? Fiscal responsibility. Hi, I'm Cooper.
Speaking of music, you want to get on going?
Yeah, let's jump into it.
So, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Audio Shop podcast. This week, we are discussing Demon Days by Gorillaz, and I got towards the end of writing stuff for this, Cooper, and I'm like, I swear we've listened to this before. For the podcast.
I've listened to it many times.
I know, I think I have as well, which is why I was really confused. I was like, I think it was deja vu. When I was typing towards the end, I was like, hold on, have I done this before? But no, it was just deja vu. But yeah, Demon Days, earlier Gorillaz album. This wasn't their first album.
This is their second album.
Second album. What was the first one?
That'd be Gorillaz, self-titled.
Okay. Because I remember I made a comment to you when you suggested this. I was like, man, I'm not a huge fan of the early punk days of Gorillaz. I think I just don't like the first album. I think that's what it is.
The first album's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's just very punk.
Yeah.
Which obviously they've strayed away from significantly in their later releases. But it's also released in like the year 2001, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's a much rawer sound.
So many times. So
than a lot of their later stuff. We can actually get pretty silky smooth.
Especially Now, which was our first album, which I forgot to put this in the title. This is our 2-year anniversary.
2-year anniversary. April 7th, 2019 is when we released our first review of the Now by Gorillaz. So to commemorate our 2nd-year anniversary, we're doing another Gorillaz review. It seems appropriate.
Yeah.
Coming full circle. And it's been a wild 2 years, Sam.
It has.
We both graduated from college.
One of us much earlier than the other. You were doing jobs, so
I've moved like 5 times.
Yeah,
so
you have. You barely lived in Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
because you moved there after the pandemic started, and now you're in California, and the pandemic's still going. Although the pandemic's been going.
That was a calendar year pandemic.
Yeah, I moved to. I was job hunting for 9 months, and then I moved here for my job. Just still in Indiana, just a little bit different place.
Yeah, so the more things change, the more things stay the same. Yeah, I think we've reviewed a lot of Gorillaz albums.
Yeah, we got to slow down. Otherwise, we're not going to have any for the 3 and 4 and other year anniversaries if we get that far.
Oh yeah, I was looking through. I was looking through our old stuff, and because we did the newest release album, obviously that was Song Machine.
Mm-hmm. And we did the Now. That was our very first one.
The Now was our very first one, and then of course we also did Plastic Beach. That was actually on our 1-year anniversary, I believe.
Okay, we're pacing ourselves then.
Yeah, so Demon Days. Yeah, we've done one every single anniversary, and then we did the Now just because it was a fresh album.
And we had to do Song Machine because it was fresh.
Yes, of course. Yeah, that really just leaves the first album. That and Humans.
Yeah, well, there's Humans. There's also, isn't there like D-sides and...
There's D-sides. There's the Falls album there's still. That's a very different kind of album. Yeah, there's plenty of back catalog that they've got.
Not necessarily good, but they're there.
Not as good as their best stuff, of course. No. But still there.
Yeah.
But today we'll be reviewing Demon Days. And just give a little background. I'm sure you're familiar with Gorillaz, the British virtual band.
Or if you're not, you can go back to our first podcast where I think we did the background for like half an hour or more. Was it like 45 minutes we did the background?
We really got into the nitty gritty of things.
We've figured out the format a bit more as we bumbled along.
Get your rhythm going.
Yeah.
But yeah, British virtual band formed in 1998, really led by the Blur's David Albarn and artist Jamie Hewlett. You got it's kind of, it's like the original virtual band before all these Vocaloids and VTubers hit off. We had 2D.
Way ahead of the curve.
Yeah. This is like 20 years before the other stuff's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
But wildly popular. They dabbled in a lot of different genres. This one, electronica, hip-hop, rock, like kind of post-punk. And they've won Grammys, MTV Music Awards, Brit Awards. And they've sold tens of millions of records worldwide. And still releasing stuff, still releasing really good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Which is, they've been going for over 20 years now. They're still releasing fresh stuff. So, that's strong. Not a lot of bands can say that. But this album, Demon Days, is their second release. Released on May 23rd in 2005, or May 11th if you lived in Japan. I don't know why they got like 3 weeks early. But it peaked at number 1 in the UK albums chart and number 6 in the Billboard 200, and it went 6 times platinum in the UK.
For good reason.
Yes, so it sold like 8 million copies worldwide. So pretty good. And actually, I will note, since I'm just thinking about the Japanese release, there was a bonus track in the Japanese Standard Edition, and there's a different bonus track in the Japanese Reissue Edition, and there's a different bonus track in the Japanese Premium Edition.
Of course.
Japan got like 3 extra songs for this out. Japan just gets all the extras, all the little tidbits at the end. But we're just reviewing the regular standard US Standard Edition, which I believe most people would be more familiar with.
Also, it's available on Spotify, which makes listening to it very easy.
You got hunt on. I'm sure it's on YouTube or something, but
but then you're gonna get ads and
like just a complete package. So with that rigmarole out of the way, let's jump right into the first track, aptly titled "Intro."
Which is more, it is just an intro more than a fully fledged song.
It's a mood set, right? It's a minute long. Though David Albarn, the brain behind the band, he kind of described this album as depicting a journey through the night, with each track kind of representing like a confrontation with like personal demons. With that background in mind, this kind of like dark police sirens in the background, like a descending oboe, distorted, glitched vocals, and like a spooky organ.
Yeah.
It really does feel like, kind of like the opening to like a kind of a old-timey horror movie.
It's really nice. The vocal lines are interesting, to say the least. Couldn't make out anything that they were saying.
I don't think you're supposed to.
Yeah.
It's more just the noise of kind of like a little bit of confusion in there,
But then like right at the end, there's that little dash of exposition right before it kicked off to track 2.
Yeah. The song isn't like I wouldn't even call it a concept album per se. As much as like this kind of, there's themes.
Mm-hmm.
Themes that represent a concept within the album. Which kicks us off into track number 2, the first proper track, Last Living Souls, which actually has a very skeletal instrumental at the beginning.
Yeah, I like the use of the default drum track from like a keyboard.
Yeah, like it's just like you're keeping beat, like it's a metronome.
It's the keyboard metronome that is literally just a metronome, but they add a little zhuzh to it to make it more exciting. Yeah,
just a dash, but still, it's like a lone keyboard and 2D's extremely understated vocals, which of course 2D being voiced by David Albarn, which is almost like kind of a very mellow, low-key delivery, which he does throughout the album.
I will say, for the vocal stylings, after about 45 seconds, like when that twinkling keyboard comes in, it really mismatches, I felt. It comes back pretty quickly, but there's that initial, when more instruments come in right around that 45-second mark, it's really like, oh my gosh, okay, and then it quickly, catches itself back up. But it was a little awkward right there.
Maybe a bit. I think it's just because the instrumental is so bare.
Mm-hmm.
Introducing like a new sound like this, a little jolting.
Yeah, true.
I think the song does a good enough job of building up.
Oh yeah.
Because it kind of has like a nice little like vocal break type deal at like the 120 mark. Before Goose Bus is kind of a very pretty like acoustic beat, like with like piano from like left field.
Mm-hmm. I really noticed on this song in particular, I would be shocked if 2D's singer is not a Tom Petty fan. The inflection in this one is ridiculously similar.
Yeah, it's almost got Western sensibilities, or I guess maybe folk sensibilities, which they dabble in every now and then.
But you could totally replace 2D in this with Tom Petty, and it would work exactly the same. It was crazy.
And then it kind of, right after that little like aside, it kind of works back into the main instrumentation, but now with like some strings backing it, really filling out the sound.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird because it never like loses that skeletal feeling, but it like continually builds throughout the song.
Yeah, my big complaint with this is it definitely felt like the vocal line was meant to be the focus, just from the vocal line and from the backing track, but it was really far back in the mix, which the vocal line was unique, but the backing track was repetitive, and the repetitiveness was kind of going over top of the vocal line. I would have just liked to hear the vocals a bit more out. That was more in the second half of the song where everything's starting to swell more, but the vocal line kind of stays at the same volume.
No, I get you. The vocals are very understated. They do shine a bit in the acoustic part, I think, though. When they really pop out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Jump to track number 3 if you're ready.
Track number 3, Kids with the Guns. Which also starts pretty understated with basically just this spicy bass line. That is the actual like cornerstone of the song.
Mm-hmm.
The bass line is consistent. It's there to stay.
This is another one that there's a couple songs on this album where I'm surprised they haven't become as popular as. Of course, nothing's going to be as popular as Feel Good Inc., but at least a fraction of the popularity.
Yeah, where this one is, it's a jam. It's not super energetic. And obviously it's kind of built in with 2D's, very, again, low-key vocal delivery. It's kind of like this hypnotic quality to it.
Oh, the chorus vocals in this are amazing.
Yeah, but he picks up the energy in the middle where he starts to sing in a higher register.
Mm-hmm.
And the chorus itself has like these backing vocals that like just keep saying push it real. You know, like it's this weird like hypno like gaze quality to it.
But it works.
Works very well.
And speaking of the chorus, there's 2 very different vocal stylings between the chorus and the verses, which I think really helps set it apart, and because like we were saying before, this is another very stripped back song, and that kind of gives it another layer of depth without adding any new elements to it, really.
No, completely agree. I don't know. It's like you said, it's stripped back, kind of like Last Living Souls. Though I'd argue maybe this one has a slightly better payoff at the very end.
I agree.
Whenever the synths jump in and the drums start to kick off, you get those oohs going on in the back half.
They got there's the constant airplane flying by noise in the background. I don't know if you picked up on that.
A little bit.
But this is a pretty short song. It's like around 3.5 minutes, right? And they've got about a minute long outro on this, but it's a really short song, and they play with it really nicely. So I think they get away with it pretty well.
Yeah, I think it's an earned outro as well.
Yeah.
No, I agree. This is a good song. This is it keeps its vibe consistent while also like being able to grow. You know,
very very nice low key song.
Yes.
Jump to track number 4.
Number 4.
Green World.
Oh, Green World. It starts with this very like tweaky like guitar, before bouncing into this very off kilter like blobby beat. It's got like this low bass, this like scrubbing instrument distortion. It's like a mixture between like having fun and being a little creepy.
Yeah, and there was not really, I don't know how to describe it other than a very round sound in the left ear. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Kind
of. They play it forward and backwards, or backwards and forwards. One of the directions, it almost sounds like a monkey howling.
Reminds me of that scene in SpongeBob where he's rubbing 2 pickles together.
Yeah, okay.
A squeaky quality to it, like a rounded squeak.
Yeah.
This all kind of breaks away at like the 45-second mark, where like some electric guitar comes in, the drums start to kick back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one definitely treats the vocals as an instrument. One of those songs where the words don't matter, but it works.
And partly that's just with how far back in the mix they are, and the fact that they're kind of got this like grainy quality.
I'm pretty sure
Like
there's
Scumbag
only
Radio.
one point on the album where 2D does not have a filter over his vocals.
Vocal filter. Yeah, no, that seems to be a running theme of the album. But
I also
I
can't
think
think
it works
of
to its
any other albums at the moment. Almost always there's a vocal filter. But.
Yeah, I think the clearest ever gets is probably on The Fall, but that's a very stripped back album. But yeah, it certainly has like a kind of adds like there's a layer between you and the vocals. They're never crystal clear. You're not going to get your Death of a Bachelor, you know. It's just like the highest level of like in your ear.
That distorted scream sample. Not sure how I feel about that one. That's brought in every once in a while. Yeah,
it kind of adds to kind of the spookiness of it.
Yeah.
Kind of an ominous feel. I mean, this whole song has got like a little ominous underneath. It even ends with like like tolling bells.
Yeah, I did like that.
Which I thought was a fun way to end the song.
I will say the midway point, it kind of just repeats itself again from the beginning, which I can't say I was a big fan of.
Yeah, there's like a bit of a hard restart. But at the very least, like the song itself ends with like kind of these building backing vocals.
Yeah.
Like, you know, this kind of things start to get a little more noisy and distorted until like the vocals even get higher too as the song goes along until it kind of breaks for those tolling bells at the end. I saw this a bit of a, tension builder and then a release.
Yeah, it felt a bit odd to me to kind of like start the song over again from the beginning at the midway point. It's like, well, what was all the building going on in the first half then?
Yeah, it definitely could have used like a cleaner transition there. Or something, to kind of...
Just a little something.
Make it feel a little more natural, but still.
Still a good song.
Yeah. Track number 5, Dirty Harry, which, of course, is kind of a spiritual sequel to their... maybe most famous track, or top 3 most famous tracks, Clint Eastwood.
That's not how you spell featuring.
Featuring Booty Brown, who I believe was a rapper in Far Side.
Yeah, sadly, no Del the Funky Homo Sapien on this.
Yeah, no, he's really only in the first project, unfortunately. Still crossing my fingers that one day we get that next Del feature.
I don't think anything will ever live up to Clint Eastwood, though, is the issue.
I mean, he made that single.
Yeah, that's the only reason I listened to it.
Oh, come on, Sunshine in a Bag.
It's the only lyric. It's the rap is the good part.
Yeah, though Booty Brown still has a good rap feature on the song as well. It's a lot more aggressive, as opposed to Del's more, I guess, like lyrical-minded verses. It's still got some great lines. The whole "your water's from a bottle, mine's from a canteen." Also has a great music video where Booty rolls in like a tank in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, this is another one that I'm surprised doesn't have as big. It feels a lot more neglected than I think it should be. Yeah,
I mean, it was one of their lead singles for the album.
This got a music video.
Yes, this Feel Good Inc., of course, Dare, and Kids with Guns, actually, / El Mania, which we'll get to. But yeah, this one's an interesting one because it's got this funky keyboard, these claps along with the bass line, and like these like children singing along with the verses.
Yeah, the children's choir.
Which actually it kind of works. It works quite well with 2D's vocals. It works surprisingly.
Yeah. And plus, it helps that the melodic line of this song is one heck of an earworm.
Ooh, yeah, it works right in.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting working into Booty's verse. Like these violins enter. It's like a prelude, which
not just violins, lots of strings.
Lots of strings. And then they kind of underpin his verse, which, like I said, it goes pretty hard. But it works oddly well with the violins pairing.
I loved the thing that constantly, because I've listened to this album, a bunch of times. The thing that constantly surprised me with listening closely was how well they divide up their segments in this album. So the verses have 2D and, you know, their traditional instruments along with the kids choir. But then as soon as the rapping segment starts, it's mostly strings. So they very heavily divide up the instrumentals as well as the vocals, which provides a very unique sound. But it still all flows together because there's some elements of the traditional instruments that carry over and stuff like that.
The ending of this verse works really well back into the normal beat, where it's just like picks right back up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's like very clear distinctions, but at the same time, if you're not paying attention, you almost don't feel them.
I will say the end of the rap verse I felt is a little bit shaky, just because it feels like it more peters out than ends. But it's still, the transition is still really good.
That's true. It's no Dell, but you know, still good.
It's a very, very good song and has good reason to be a single.
Speaking of singles, if you're ready, Sam.
Yeah, 2 singles back to back.
Go into track number 6, Feel Good Inc. featuring De La Soul.
Which I don't know if there's a person on the planet that hasn't heard this song.
Yes, this is. I mean, sometimes you're like, oh, this might be their most famous song. This is Gorillaz' most famous song. This dominated the airwaves for a while, which is funny because it's not even like that. It's not like I'd say like classical pop song, right?
No.
Because first off, it starts with like De La Soul, like a very iconic laugh, going straight into it.
That's probably has something to do with it, just how it starts.
Yeah, like you instantly know what song it's going to be just by just his like crunchy laugh, and then of course it goes right into that iconic bass line with the feel good and the shaka shaka going over. Again, not too many elements at play. You got the bass line, the shaka shaka noise, and the feel good hook, and just like that's enough.
And this is another one that has the huge distinction between the rap verses, the chorus, and the verses. Because if you think of 2D's breakdown, it goes acoustic. It's got a little bit of floaty synth under it while he's actually, you know, doing a bit of singing. And then in the normal verses, he isn't singing quite as much. It's a bit more spoken.
It's like a deadpan spoken delivery.
Yeah. And then, of course, you get into the rap segment, which they shift up the instrumentals all over again.
Oh, yeah. The kind of juxtaposition between, like, the deadpan spoken word and then, like, the quieter sung acoustic part. And then you smack dab right into De La Soul's really energetic performance. Which kind of has, like, this kind of just fun and bravado beneath it. It's a very it's a juxtaposed deliveries, but they work very well into each other.
Very well. Going back to the 2D specifically, in his normal verses, he's got that filter, right, like he always has. But as soon as it switches to the chorus, they take the filter off of him, and he is extremely crisp. But they put the filter onto an acoustic guitar, so it's very heavily filtered. So you're kind of flipping that filter so you get the vocals popping a lot more than they were a minute ago. And there's good reason that this is their most well-known song of all time. They really engineered the shit out of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of production minutia that really goes into this song. And again, De La Soul's feature, probably the best on the album. Yeah. I mean, his verse isn't even that long, but it's super memorable. It has like a lot of character packed into it. And plus it kind of leads off into like his laugh, just like getting more distorted, which is an interesting like mix of like energy and like kind of sinisterness in it.
My lamp is flashing every once in a while, so hopefully I don't lose power here. We'll see. So if I just suddenly disappear, you know why.
Look, just reroute everything into the computer.
It doesn't work that way, Cooper. If I lose power, that's it. The power is gone. Jump to track number 6 then, if you're ready. Or sorry, 7.
Track number 7. El Manana. Is that Mana?
I don't know. I don't know how you pronounce the thing over the N.
The tilde.
The tilde.
Tilde. Oh, wow. This is El Mana. On the opposite end, it's very, very mellow song. We're back to a little more mellow.
Yeah, it it was pretty jarring, in my opinion, to have something so mellow right after the high, well, not necessarily high energy, but the very not mellow Feel Good Inc., you know?
Yeah, it's a bit of a whiplash. Guess this one's kind of got just like some acoustic guitar, some low-key synth, which has this pretty nice look in it. That like boom, bum, 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 that jumps in every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a lot sleepier.
Yeah, and that I feel like they could have placed this one a bit better. Just with it was like you said, very whiplashy. That being said, it feels again quite full for such a limited instrument song. They keep shifting things in and out of the backing track to keep it fresh. Like something will bubble up to the surface and then go back underneath, and something else will bubble up in its place. And they throw in a bunch of strings again at 2:30, which are great.
Oh yeah, the strings whenever they come in, it's always nice. Mm-hmm. It's like a little preview of Plastic Beach.
there's a couple. We'll get to. There's a couple spots in later songs where one is almost sounds exactly like the Now, and one sounds almost exactly like Plastic Beach.
And you can definitely see where some of the venues they take later. But yeah, overall, I don't have as much to say about this song. It's pleasant on the ears, but maybe a little sleepier than I would have liked, especially after Feel Good Inc.
Yeah, quite a bit sleepier than I think is desired.
We can go right into track number 8. Every Planet We Reach is Dead, which starts with like this electric guitar riff. And like some kind of plingy keyboard chords in the background. Though these mostly drop out when the vocals come, and it's kind of more of like a bass-led song.
Yeah, it's a fun one. I think this would have been much better placed after Feel Good Inc. It's still mellow, but more electric, more energetic. They've got some. I couldn't tell whether it was a square wave or a saw wave over top the bass, which gives it a very distinct sound. But this one has the chorus in it, not children's chorus this time, just a normal chorus.
Yes.
And it provides just a little bit of support every once in a while when it gets a bit thin, which I think helps quite a bit. Although there was that weird breakdown around the end where just kind of everything gets thrown in there.
Yeah, I kind of like that because it kind of builds up this distortion and cushion and then kind of breaks into this like semi-jazzy piano refrain. I actually quite enjoy it. It's like this kind of energy build-up again before it gets its release.
Yeah, I just think for a 5-minute song, I think they pulled that out just a little bit too long. Maybe like chop 30 seconds or so off that.
I think it kind of earned its keep.
It's a very minimal complaint.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Could have been less, but I don't think it was too much of a detriment to be more.
No, not at all. It was just like it would have been nice, but it's fine the way it is.
Yeah, and then we can go on to track number 9. November Has Come, featuring the late great MF Doom.
Is he dead?
Yeah, he actually passed away less than a year ago. I think back in November.
Oh, jeez.
It's a shame. He's a great artist. Some fantastic projects.
I didn't realize he had passed away.
Oh, yeah. But he is on the song. The song starts right with this feature, with just him and the bass line.
Yeah, I gotta say, this is a good song. But there was this high pitch. Did you hear that high pitch electronic whine they had going over the top?
Yeah, no. I definitely heard that within it.
It gets louder as the song goes on as well. I'm like, this is a terrible decision. Why would you do this?
Yeah, I didn't care for it. I mean, it didn't annoy me as much as it sounds like it's annoying you. but it's certainly weirdly ever present. Like it's over the chorus lines, over the verses.
There's like, and I had to pause. I paused the song to make sure it wasn't just me, and it stopped. And they even cut it out at some points as well in the song. I'm like, why would you, like, if you want to have an electronic noise, sure, but it was high pitched and grating.
Yeah, a little odd, but barring that, I still think it's a nice instrumental.
Yeah,
I mean, if Doom goes over, kind of wraps over a very cartoony guitar riff, with the chorus itself being a lot more melodic, having this nice humming line underneath, and 2D's kind of nice vocal delivery.
It's got very good building as well. Starts extremely stripped back as you said, with just the bass line and MF Doom. But as it goes, it kind of reaches that full point about midway through, so it can play through to the end, which I thought was very well done.
No, it's a short one. Shortest on the album besides the intro. Well, I guess White Light's shorter.
Yeah, we'll get to that one. It's a bit odd.
Oh, well. Well, first we have to talk about track number 10, All Alone, featuring Roots Manuva. Which is, this song starts with like this really farty synth before these kind of stacked vocals and a bass line over this drum loop kick in.
Mm-hmm. I love the melodic line on this one. It's so good.
Oh, yeah. It's really catchy.
And the style is drastically different than anything else. That's something I always think I really like about, especially early Gorillaz, is just how crazy they get with styles, but they fully commit to each style, just between songs on the same album.
I mean, yeah, just talking about this song alone. Mm-hmm. I mean, Roots comes in over a pretty wacky instrumental, where it's got that aggressive drum loop, but also that party synth just keeps popping up.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the 2-minute mark, it's like a complete instrumental change.
Mm-hmm.
Where it gets spacey, a female artist starts singing overhead. Like it's a drastic switch.
That 2-minute breakdown sounds just straight off of Plastic Beach to me.
Yeah, that's basically like, this is like proto Empire Ants.
Yeah. It was crazy. I've obviously, I've listened to it before, but you notice so much more when you sit and like, oh wow, okay, I see what they're doing here. And I didn't like it to start with, the call and response with the pitch shifted vocals, but it grew on me.
I get that. And then at the very end, where the spacey instrumentals like kind of mixed with the like the drums kick back in, the synth's brought a little lower, but it's still there. Like melds back together to make the song end.
Quality.
It's quality stuff.
Jump to track number 11 if you're ready.
It's track number 11. White Light. So
I had some issues with this just because the whole time I couldn't think of anything other than they were recording these vocals on their phone while rushing to catch a train or something. That's all I could think about.
I was thinking like their mom's asleep and they're underneath the blankets of their room. Yeah, it's a very it's like a very whispery. I mean, I guess whispery is the best way of saying it. Like he's talking in a library. At least for me, I think it really works. This actually, I mean, I've listened to this album a lot before this review too, and sometimes I'll just go, "What?"
The only thing I can think of is it was literally one of the guys was doing something where he couldn't be loud, and he had this idea for a song, and he had to get it down. That's what it sounds like, because it sounds like phone level vocals.
It's very distorted. It's rough. Obviously, it's very whispery.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. It's over like these kind of this bass guitar and like driving drum beat, and then like electric comes in. It's like it's also pretty raw.
It's not necessarily bad. It's just very, very odd.
Also, at the 1 minute mark, it kind of all just kind of drops out into like this very like spacey, heavenly, like kind of distant sound. before kicking back into, of course, the white light.
Yeah. I said it was like you're sitting at the back of a large auditorium while they're practicing without having the speakers on.
But even for a 2-minute song, it's got that little break in the middle.
Yeah.
The ending kind of brings in kind of like some noise punk into it. Like the synths kind of going up and down.
It's not bad by any stretch.
No. Maybe not the most complete song of all time.
No.
But you gotta admire how they made a decent song out of like a 3-second whispered time, like vocal sample.
There's not much lyrics, but they realize that and they don't have it stick around for 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's like a 2-minute song. So, and then we jump into track number 12, "Dare." It's Dare, which is definitely the most danceable song on the album.
Mm-hmm. Very most poppy, and it's really good. And plus, it's got a really odd music video.
Yes.
Now, is that Sean Ryder in the music video?
Yeah, well, his head.
Yeah, okay. But it's another classic that I mean, this one gets played more, I think, but it's definitely like I can't see why this isn't, at least half as popular as Feel Good Inc.
I mean,
maybe that's just because I personally love this one quite a bit.
Well, it's got catchy as hell synth, and you've got these female vocals, and I was trying to find the vocalist. It was someone named Rose Gabber. Not familiar with any of her work, but she has like these very kind of higher vocals over the verse, and then of course Sean's kind of I guess kind of Londoner,
very
like very distinctly British vocals, which are almost kind of like more spoken than sung, but they work oddly well with like the pluckiness of the song.
Yeah, it does work. And technically, she's playing Noodles in this one, isn't she?
Yes.
Because this is
in the music video, at least.
I don't know if that's I guess if it's in the music video, it's canon, right?
It's lore.
So, but she's got a different vocalist now, I believe, or she doesn't even really sing ever.
I mean, yeah. Every time there's a female vocalist, they just flop it in. Yeah.
But yeah, I love the bass. The bass really sets the tone for the song. And it's a lot meatier than anything that's else that's been on the album before this.
It's got this deepness to it.
Mm-hmm.
The whole album though has pretty great bass playing overall, honestly.
But this one is this one's not so much bass guitar as really deep bass synth.
Yeah, that kind of resonates underneath, which pairs well with kind of the twinkling synth that kind of floats above the song as well. You get like a sandwich of synth.
Yeah, I thought it sounded a bit more like piano, but I guess it is synth.
Yeah, maybe it might be like just like filtered piano, but
probably just a synth. It's easier to do that.
No, we need a piano in the recording studio.
You have to have the grand piano, and I'm going to record it, and then I'm going to make it sound like a synth. You don't understand the artistic process.
No, I don't want a baby grand. It's got to be full.
Really listening closely, I didn't realize how bare this song was. Right at the start, like there's quite a bit of instruments when you get to the end, but like right at the start, it always has that dance vibe to it. But there's really not much there.
They do a lot with a little.
Yeah, they really do. The only other thing I have is his aggressive British vocals he's not even singing, he's just speaking monotonely.
And yet it works so well somehow.
It does, it really works.
It really shouldn't, but it does.
Now, I read something... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you can keep going.
I was just going to say, I read something a long time ago that supposedly he was saying it's there, but because of how British he is, it's there. So he did the D sound instead of a TH sound. I don't know how true that is.
I mean, I would not believe it.
So that one, citation needed, but every time I listen to it, I try and just see if I can hear that thing, because I'm pretty sure he's the only one that ever says it's Dare. I don't think the female vocalist does.
Yeah, no, it's got a very thick accent, but it sounds like Dare. So, and the song's called Dare. So
They might have called it that to make fun of him. I don't know.
oh.
They haven't done any music with him since, so maybe it was.
He got really offended.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's not.
I mean, the guys who make this band are British too, so you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, now we're going on to track number 13, which I kind of consider like like a trilogy of songs. Is the last 3 tracks.
Yeah,
they're very thematically connected.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of spoken word, this one is almost entirely just narrated by Dennis Hopper.
Fantastic voice.
Who you might know as as President Koopa, you know, the main villain from the Super Mario Bros. Film. But yes, he's got a great voice.
Yeah. It's like just on the verge of being too crisp as well.
It's
like
crisp.
So close.
It's crisp. It's like very proper. Like he never lets too much emotion slip into it.
Mm-mm.
So like when he does, like it's like a, you know,
very
maybe not it's like not vast the range, but you know the little hills, you know, become more distinct. It's basically a spoken word poem about like or story about like these people who live on a mountain called Monkey. You know, they worship the mountain until some people come and start mining the mountain, and it causes it to explode. I guess the implication being it is actually like a volcano or something. So fire coming out of a monkey's head. So it's kind of got these undertones of kind of environmentalism and like kind of industrialization and greed.
I don't know. I took it more of as like spiritualization, because they didn't necessarily worship the mountain, but they, you know, they just lived in harmony and peace, and they're like, why is everybody outside of here so angry all the time, and all that jazz. Yeah,
and then the people come in and they start mining for the precious jewels within the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And greed ultimately destroys them. Mm-hmm. Both of those guilty and innocent alike, you know, makes you think.
We live in a society.
Bottom text, Dennis Hopper. No, but even with the spoken word, it's got this really nice, like the non-chorus parts with Dennis Hopper actually have a very kind of plucky, like guitar riff. And like these humming, kind of ominous humming underneath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got kind of sucked into the story on this one. I didn't write all that much because I hadn't really listened all that closely to it before.
Hopper's delivery is very well.
It just draws you in. But the outro of this, straight from the Now. I don't know if you picked up those vibes, but it was.
Oh, what with the just the acoustic guitar over like wind sounds,
very light 2D vocals. You could have told me that was something from the Now, and I'd be like, yeah, I guess it's been a while since I listened to it. I've probably forgotten a song or two.
Yeah, you could work this into like Idaho or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a chilling outro. I think it goes right into track number 14.
Mm-hmm.
Don't Get Lost in Heaven. Which this and the last song I kind of see as like kind of the daybreak, right? You know, the whole metaphor at the beginning was like it's like a journey through the night. So if the intro is the actual setting of the sun, is kind of like that, the rising of the sun.
I was a bit worried right at the start of this one that they were going for Beach Boys.
I can see it having like some Pet Sound influences.
There was like, it was just like right at the start. There was something about it. I was like, oh God, they're not about to do, because I will admit, when I listen to this album, I usually don't listen to the last 3 songs.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
I know. I usually stop at Dare. Just because, I mean, it's a 51 minute album. It's a bit long.
It's a chunk of change.
But I was glad they didn't, because I was like, I cannot handle a Beach Boys song right now after that last one.
Oh, man.
Dick.
We'll have to review Pet Sounds sometime. I remember being described as like just like if you just took a teenage, like it's just like a teenage, like a pure like minded teenager just singing about love, like, you know, holding hands and let's get jobs and, you know, live together someday. You know, it's so like it's like sweet and pure.
How old were they when they made that?
I think in their 20s.
Okay, so
that's they were teenagers, but
they were 45.
They're mid 60s. They're like, when I get when I get older, someday we'll get married. Like 78. No, that's a great album too. But yes, very heavenly synth and guitars and choir.
They really
with
got their
2D's
money
kind
on
of
that.
vocals.
They really got their money on that choir.
Oh yeah, it works well every time it jumps in.
Mm-hmm.
And short track, like 2 minutes. But it leads so well into track number 15. The title track, actually, Demon Days.
Yeah.
Which kind of plays off the choir from the last song into like these violins. And just 2D's kind of like soft crooning in the background.
Mm-hmm. A little bit of organ under there as well, which is constantly in the background with the strings.
And this kind of guitar distortion slowly building up throughout the part, adding a little bit of tension and build up into the song. Until what I see is the big payoff of the album is at the 145 mark, where like this kind of twingy guitar comes in, and then like all these drums come in, and then like this choir breaks through. Ooh.
Yeah, around the 2 minute mark, it's like it goes kind of like Jamaican-y.
Maybe I can see what you're saying,
which felt really off to me. Just like it was this whole ethereal, 3-track epic, if you will, and then it goes completely out of left field on the last little bit. It works eventually, but the initial shift is like, why did you choose this style?
I think once it pairs with a choir, it's got like a very spiritual aspect to it.
But it was very Jamaican guitar inspiration of the guitar and drums, which I thought was I didn't think was a very good choice to shift.
Oh, I love it. I think it works well, but I can understand where it's not quite what you're expecting the album to end up on.
Yeah. A bit of a tangent, but I will say I love the fact with modern music that there's just no more B-sides. Like what other album? I can't think off the top of my head. I couldn't think of any other album where the titular track is the last song.
Right, like this is the closer.
Yeah, usually you're gonna have your titular track at least on the A side in older music. That came out on vinyl first,
or at least the first track on the B side, right?
Yeah, because people aren't gonna listen through the entire album just to get to the title track. So you put it where they will hear it, and then if they really want to listen to the album, they'll listen through the whole thing. But
yeah, no, I mean, obviously with modern technology and being able to listen on cassettes, CDs, and streaming,
we have.
That's why when the Beatles came out and blew everyone's brains, we're like, what? They made the whole album good.
Well, they say that
quote unquote concept album, right?
They also have some of the worst songs ever made.
Hey! Just because you don't like Wild Honey Pie, that's on you. You can't respect Paul McCartney's genius of leaving him in the studio for 20 minutes without anyone looking over him.
Comes back and took a shit on the floor. What the heck is this?
Ringo, I thought you were watching him.
But yeah, that's it. That's the last track.
And I think it's a heck of a closer.
Yeah. So, Cooper.
Yes.
Let's just do both at the same time. What is your favorite and least favorite song? Let's do least favorite first and then favorite, so it's positive.
Okay. I got my. I realized my notes. I got my favorite and least favorite mixed up.
Whoops.
So what we're doing favorite first?
Least favorite and then favorite.
Okay, my least favorite. We're doing it at the same time.
No, we're not going to both speak over each other.
Oh, that's what you're fine.
I meant say your least favorite and then say your favorite and then I'll do mine.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying like we're supposed. I'm like, okay. No. My least favorite, I'll probably say, is El Mana. I'll pronounce that right one day, maybe. Fine song. It's got nice acoustics, low key synth. Coming right off of Feel Good Ink. Didn't feel like it had too much. It's nothing like it's pretty, and I like the strings included in it, but not my favorite track. Though my favorite track, this was a tough one actually. I ultimately went with Dare because that's just the one I know I've gone back to the most from this album, just with how danceable and fun it is. But obviously, Feel Good Ink is classic. Mm-hmm. Dirty Harry is a great overlooked song sometimes too. Those last three songs, I love that kind of just as a package.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a strong closer for the album. But yeah, I'll probably go as like just purest enjoyability factors, probably Dare. What about you, Sam?
Well, my least favorite, I'm going to have to say, is November Has Come.
Okay.
Just because, like everything else, there's a little bit of placement issues some places, but that I can live with that. This one, just that electronic, this was the only one that's like, why did they do that? That really high-pitched electronic noise. Which, again, good song otherwise. But that was the only thing that stuck out to me is like, you know what, this is the only thing that could make this the worst song. Because the rest of them, God, if it didn't have this, I don't know what I would pick. So
yeah, it's tough.
And then for favorite, I'm gonna have to say Dare as well. I listen to that one quite a bit. Although, as you said, Dirty Harry. I like Kids with Guns quite a bit as well. Feel Good Inc. is reaching that point of
overplayed,
cliche almost. Not quite. It's still got a long ways to go, but like there's some songs like Crazy Train, Eye of the Tiger. I cannot listen to those songs anymore. We Will Rock You by Queen. Hate that song. It's a fine song. I hate it though. Absolutely hate it. Just because they're so overplayed that they become a cliche in themselves, and I just don't like them anymore.
I can get how, like, sometimes, like, you just get tired of the song. You can't eat the same meal every day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, that's I agree with your favorite, obviously.
Yeah, it's a good song.
It's a good song. Now we'll go on to our final rating of the album.
Yeah. So I think I did last time. So you wanna go this time, Coop?
Yeah, I'll give a brief description. For those who don't know, obviously we've been doing it for 2 years, but it's never a shame to reiterate.
We haven't done quite a few Sundays 2 years.
I reviewed 58 albums over 2 years, so that's not quite an album a week.
No, that's we've made it to about a year, just over a year's worth of content in 2 years.
But hey, we still committed to the bit in terms of it being a car-themed music podcast.
It's fun, is what it is. If we don't feel like it, we don't force ourselves.
Yeah, does it matter? No. Is it fun? Sure.
Yeah.
So that's why we have.
I don't remember. I'm not sure why we picked cars.
We drive cars, of course, silly. That's where the radio is. But in our ranking, we have at the top, you got Showroom. This is the best of the best, the cream of the crop. Something you're going to want to show. Yeah. Something you're going to show to everyone. And at the bottom, you got Scrapyard. This is just the worst. This is I want to die while I'm listening to this, and I never want to return to it. Mm-hmm. Both equally rare in terms of being given out. And then, of course, we'll give it like a high or low in between if we're kind of feeling, if it's kind of straddling the line between two ratings. So, Sam, what would you rank Demon Days?
I mean, you say both equally rare, but I think we've given, 2 scrapyards? How many showrooms have we given?
we're inclined to.
We usually listen to albums that we're pretty sure we're going to like.
We're inclined to like the albums, but, we've given out some scrapyards.
Yeah, not many. I think the only times we have were times they were recommendations. I'm going to have to give it a low showroom. I think if you like the Gorillaz, you definitely have already listened to this album. But if you're new to the Gorillaz, it's a pretty solid album. There's not a lot of chaff. I mean, it's a 51-minute album, but it does not feel like 51 minutes. And it's got so much variety in there. It's masterfully crafted. It's just a great album. And I think I noticed a couple of things. I think I can pull one of these out of here and slap it on my chillin' playlist, which hasn't been updated in like a year. So it desperately needs more content. So it's a wonderful album. I think you should definitely give it a listen.
I agree. I think I'd also like to give it a showroom. I mean, everything you said in Sam and more. If you never listen to Gorillaz, this is the album to start on. Mm-hmm. I'd listen to this one and then maybe go back to their debut album first.
Or you could just listen to Clint Eastwood. Or
oh yeah. I mean, the first album's good.
It's okay.
I still enjoy it. It's very in the punk. It's almost like a period album. So like, not to everyone's taste, but I think this one's got something for everyone. Just you respect the good production, the great features, the blending of genres that almost always pays off, and some killer singles. I mean, this is there's a reason this album's so beloved, and how many consider it to be Gorillaz' best album even to this day.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's quality.
It is a quality record that's you deserve to listen through it all the way through. Of course, you can always go back and listen to your favorite singles every now and then, but I think the full album experience is well worth it. And I'd highly recommend it to anyone who likes music, which I hope is anyone listening to this podcast, or else, I mean, if you don't, then what, is this just like
Cooper?
Got your arms crossed going,
Cooper, people don't listen to this podcast. That's your first mistake.
Sometimes they do.
But yeah, that was Demon Days. Now we're rolling on over to Spare Tire, which is just whatever else we've been listening to the past week. And why don't you go first, Coop?
Yeah, so in terms of the spare tires that I've been listening to, let's see. Trying to pull up my listing here. Yeah, so I've been listening through a lot of Red Hot Chili Peppers, of course. I've been kind of going through their back catalog, just listen to Mother's Milk. That's when, Chad Smith and all the other, kind of their band really solidified. And, very, very funky. I haven't listened to much of their early stuff, and surprisingly funky. I mean, I guess they're kind of famous for that, but like really funky, especially on their album Freaky Styley. Also listened to the new Brockhampton record, Roadrunner, which is fantastic. I'm glad the boys were putting out a good project. It's been a little bit since they've released one, and I wasn't super big on their last couple projects, Ginger and Iridescent. But I think this one they really brought their A game, and I'm still kind of absorbing and listening to the tracks. And also, just today, I was listening to an interesting record called Promises, which is a collab album between electronic producer / DJ Floating Points, saxophone legend Pharoah Sanders, and the London Symphony Orchestra. So a lot of different sounds on this album, and it's basically just one long song, with each song, quote unquote, being like a movement within that song.
Okay.
Very low key, very ethereal, with Pharaoh's saxophone playing, just kind of really holding the whole thing together. Yeah, it is nothing I've heard is quite like it. Just like that mix of electronica and jazz and like orchestra. It's perfect. Like I was reading to it, and I thought it was brilliant. So yeah, I'd highly recommend it.
We've already established that you're somebody who can read while listening to music that has lyrics in it.
Oh, this one doesn't have any lyrics. It's all instrumental.
Okay.
Which of course helps.
That's a bit more doable.
Yeah, but I'd highly recommend checking out this album. It might not be your cup of tea, but I think it's still interesting and worth listening to it just for at least Pharaoh's performance. But yeah, so that's just kind of what I've been listening to.
I've been doing. I've actually listened to quite a bit this time around.
Good.
Listened to two of the Wings albums. I was on a bit of a Wings kick.
Oh, a Wings kick. Is that why we were? Is that that's Paul McCartney's band, right?
Yeah.
Is that why we were bringing them up?
You were the one that brought him up, not me.
Oh, I guess that's just happy circumstance then.
But I listened to Venus and Mars, mainly because I've listened to what the band said a lot. That's on my chillin' playlist, so I listen to it, at least like 4 times a week probably. But I hadn't listened to the full album yet, or if I had, it'd been a very, very long time. So I listened through that. It was pretty good. Then I did Speed of Sound, which was also pretty good. And then I've been listening to a bit of Estella.
Good. Any particular reason?
Just got that song in my head again. But I downloaded the album to listen to, so I've been listening to that full album that American Boy's off of.
It was me, Sam. I created a whole Fortnite meme just so you would like a Kanye song.
He's barely featured, and his part isn't my favorite, so screw you.
Okay.
And also listening to quite a bit more Cassiopeia. I still haven't figured out how they pronounce their band name.
Yeah, you were playing some of the jazz in the Discord. Quite nice.
Love Asian Dreamer, and then I've also got what was the other one I downloaded to listen to? I'm just going to download their whole discography because I'm probably going to listen to it. What album? Shit, Freak Jack. What album's that? Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Freak Jack.
But I love that song. It's called Material. And it's a good album as well. I still prefer Asian Dreamer. I think overall, Asian Dreamer's like batting 100. This is like, this is about 80. But they're
still pretty good.
They're amazing. And they've been around for a really long time. One of their earliest albums is, let's see, I saw 87. I think they started in 79.
So they have been around for a while.
Yeah, they've got their first 3 albums are from 79. They might have started in 78. But they're Japanese jazz fusion. Like we said before, the people that know how to do jazz the best are really fucking old white guys and the Japanese.
Hey, some African American jazz. Got to sneak that in there too, right?
You'll have to send me some. I don't know if I have listened because all I really listened to is Larry Carlton and now these guys. So
listen to the Pharaoh Sanders record. That's or I guess it's not really jazz per se. Just he plays saxophone, but
if it has saxophone, it's jazz. Those
are the jazz. That's the law. I like jazz.
You like jazz? All right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you all for watching. And if you're on Twitch and you'd like to see all our past ones, or most of them, because we've got quite a few that I haven't made public yet, because finding a thumbnail that doesn't get auto-blocked by YouTube is a ball ache. You can scroll down to that picture of Jeff Lynne, who's the dude with the curly hair and the glasses. Click that, take you over there. All of the past ones are there. Really don't suggest listening to the early ones. They're really bad. We get a lot better as we go. Or at least I like to think we get better as we go.
I think there's been market improvement.
There's been improvement, although whether or not it's good is still up for debate. And then if you are on YouTube and you'd like to hear us live, just scroll down in the description, take you to our Twitch. We're live 8 p.m. Eastern or 5 p.m. Pacific, right?
Mm-hmm.
On Sunday evenings. And then if you want to know what we're listening to or whether or not we're actually going to be live, you can hop on over to Twitter.
Yeah, at Audio Shop 14. We'll keep you updated on what we're listening to.
So maybe you can listen to the album before we review it and then say, hey, these guys actually don't know what they're talking about, or wow, I thought the exact same thing while I was listening.
What the hell? Demon Days is a country folk album. What are they talking about? They make everything up.
Hold on a minute. They listened to the wrong Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, okay, that only happened once.
But we didn't claim it was the other one was the important thing.
Yes, that's true.
But yeah. Thank you all.
It's his fault for having 2 albums with the name Born in them.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't catch it either until we were like halfway through doing the actual review. But yeah, thank you all for listening, and we will see you next time.
See ya.
See ya.